India's leading secure networking and cybersecurity company. I was with Infosys for almost 17 years before we decided to do something.
From your experience, what does it take to keep such critical city-scale networks secure and reliable around the clock?
One of the key challenges with the networks which build these smart cities, safe cities, is that
Your collaboration with IIT Kanpur and Indigenous SSL and Cyber Range Research is fascinating. How important are such academia industry partnerships for India's long-term cyber resilience? What do you think about that?
we have a very strong academia. We have institutes like IITs, ISCs, and a pool of talent available with us today, which is not getting fully utilized compared to some of the other countries because of the fact that industry and academia is not working together to the extent it is required.
What will be that one myth about cybersecurity or networking that you wish more people, even inside the tech industry, would stop believing? What will be that be? Hello, everyone. I'm Mohit Sharma, and welcome to CyberSuraksha Dialogues, a podcast by Veloxx Media, a dynamic knowledge-sharing platform committed to fostering learning, innovation, and collaboration across industries. At Veloxx Media, we believe that knowledge is most powerful when shared. And through this series, we bring together voices that are shaping the future of cybersecurity. CyberSuraksha Dialogues is a podcast series that will feature conversations with policymakers, industry leaders, and technology experts who are redefining how we secure our digital world, from data protection and AI governance to cryptography and cyber resilience to build a secure digital Bharat. In today's episode, we are joined by Mr. Manish Bajpai, CEO and co-founder Nivetti Systems, as we explore inside India's cyber backbone, building trusted indigenous networks. Mr. Manish, firstly, thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks for giving your time and willingness to discuss this very important topic with us. And I'm sure this is something. Totally our honor, sir. And I'm sure this is something that apply to the industry very, very prominently. Before we'll get into the discussion and into the questions, Manish, I'll give the dais to you just to give us a little insight into what Nivetti is, what do you do, and how do you think that you're really making a change in this space? So over to you, yeah. Before I extend on that.
So once again, thanks for having me here.
Pleasure.
It's my pleasure completely. And so just to give you a brief introduction about Nivetti, see, we are India's leading secure networking and cybersecurity company. We are a spin out of Infosys. I was with Infosys for almost 17 years before we decided to do something with the goal of getting the self-reliance in the networking and cybersecurity space for the country, very much in line with the Atmanirbhar vision of Honorable Prime Minister. So we basically decided to build some of the core fundamental basic building blocks of the secure networking and cybersecurity space. And the first of it was India's first fully indigenous network operating system, which is like, if we have to build a rocket, we have to build a cryogenic engine first.
That's correct.
And similarly, in the networking space, network operating system is the very fundamental brain and the backbone of the network. So that is something which we have developed. It's India's first, and it has taken us close to around 400 man years of R&D to be able to do that with a very, very experienced team. And once we did that, we started churning out products on top of that platform, basically IP MPLS routers, switches, and today we have close to around 150,000 devices deployed across various very, very critical networks of the country. And when we were doing that, we also realized that cybersecurity is an adjacency which needs to be addressed, and customers are looking for a reliable and a trustworthy solution. And at that point of time, we also forayed into cybersecurity and again introduced India's first network detection and response solution, which we call as Hawkeye. Again, that is also close to around 300,000 devices are under the production of Hawkeye as of today.
Tremendous work that and the scale that Nivetti has achieved, and I'm sure team has been working rigorously behind it. So let's dig into the questions that we have shortlisted for you, Manish. So Nivetti started as an Infosys spin out, right? And now it has become one of India's talked about deep tech networking companies, correct? What gap in India's secure communication ecosystem were you trying to fill when you began this journey? Right. So what was the key focus of Nivetti at that time?
Focus was to fill not just the gap in India's ecosystem, but the global ecosystem as far as the networking is concerned. So and India being the first one and something which is closer to our heart. So we saw that the networking systems which were built 20, 30 years back,
Yeah.
the focus was all around moving the traffic from one place to the other with the required performance.
Correct.
Security was not even a consideration.
Right.
And we believe that unless security is a very DNA of a system like that, you cannot achieve security as an afterthought. So security has to be the part of the DNA. Secure by design is the mantra. So we started with that. We did a statistical analysis of all the vulnerabilities which we saw in the global OEM products. And we realized we mapped them onto architectural flaws in their systems as far as the network operating system is concerned. And we decided we are going to fix all of it. So that is why we build a network operating system ground up, which is fully indigenous, not out of any of the open source operating systems from the Western ecosystem. And it's practically a grounds up development right from the scratch. And it's a black box for all our adversaries.
I'm sure it would not have been a easy journey considering the Indian ecosystem, where we try and do the thing first and then see what the challenges really lies ahead, right? Manish, now your indigenous network operating system, NIOS, right, is often called India's first secure network OS. Could you help our listeners understand in a simple term, simple language, what makes it so different and yet so secure by design?
Security was the very, very fundamental, non-negotiable trait that we thought we are going to start with. But it was not the only factor. We also believe that as the networks are growing, we have to factor the efficiency, the performance, and also the software-defined behavior of the operating system as a native feature and not as an afterthought. So NIOS is fundamentally done in a way where we have looked at multiple layers of security, right from the kernel level to the libraries. So we don't use any standard C libraries. We wrote our own libraries which are secure in nature.
Impressive.
And as a proof of it, I mean, we were suggested by one of the senior scientists in DRDO to go ahead and subject our operating system to what is called as a DRDO Scientific Analysis Group Security Evaluation. And we are the only company today to have us DRDO Scientific Analysis Group Security certification with us. And that is the very, very fundamental principle on which NIOS is based. So not only that, the NIOS is built for efficiency, which means that compared to any other global OEM, our products consume close to around 70% to 60% less power, which means that effectively in terms of the total cost of ownership of running devices in the network is going to pay for itself in 2 to 3 years.
That's a huge claim. Yeah. It's a very strong claim. So you do enjoy a lot of first mover advantage and exclusivity, if I may call it, right? Great. Now let's take the discussion to a little broader space. So we keep hearing about smart cities and safe cities, where camera networks and sensors they run 24/7, right? From your experience, what does it take to keep such critical city-scale networks secure and reliable around the clock?
Right. One of the key challenges with the networks which build these smart cities, safe cities, is that the network which has to run is exposed both to the weather and to the cyber threats. Right. So weather, because most of the cases, these devices are deployed on street curbs and connecting the cameras to it or IoT sensors to it. And in a city like Delhi, you will have the temperature extremes of, right from say -5 degrees all the way up to 55 degrees. And the device has to operate.
And nowadays you can't even predict that.
Right. So our devices that we built for this network can work from -40 to +75 degrees. So they are close to around 500 industrial grade field switches, which are terminating close to 4,000 cameras across Delhi today and running from past 5 years with 0 faults. So that is the kind of quality which is required. Now, that is the robustness of the hardware.
Indeed, yes.
Now, at the same time, because this network is exposed, the cables are exposed, they are terminated on cameras, there has to be security features on the device to prevent tampering, to prevent somebody from inducting a third-party device. So all those features are also built into all these platforms to provide safeguards against both the weather and the cybersecurity challenges.
Wow. I can't imagine what does go in your mind, in your team's mind when you're predicting this kind of threats or scenarios in advance. Really impressive. Manish, your collaboration with IIT Kanpur and Indigenous SSL and cyber range research is fascinating, right? How important are such academia industry partnerships for India's long-term cyber resilience? What do you think about that?
We have a very strong academia. We have institutes like IITs, ISCs, and a pool of talent available with us today,
Right.
which is not getting fully utilized compared to some of the other countries because of the fact that industry and academia is not working together to the extent it is required. So we feel that this is a huge unlocked potential which can be exploited if this collaboration can be worked out well. The idea is that, see, you have the talent pool available, which has to be given a direction, and the direction which is market relevant.
Right.
So industry brings in that. We bring the pertinent problem statements which are market relevant, which can be deployed where value can be delivered.
Correct.
That is the kind of problem statements we can take to academia, and which we did in this particular case also, where we worked with IIT Kanpur and we got a fantastic output out of that.
Great. I think I'm definitely going to come back to this point as well. But moving ahead, Manish, many CISOs talk about visibility as the new parameter. Now, how does Nivetti's Hawksecure, which you mentioned earlier as well, it translate that idea into real-time threat detection and response?
So there is a very fundamental principle. You can't stop what you can't see, which is where visibility plays a strong role. You cannot fight an invisible man.
That's right.
So same way you cannot fight an invisible threat. So visibility is the first steps toward establishing a strong security posture where you know what is happening on your network, and Hawksecure exactly does that. Now, at the same time, just the visibility of seeing millions of events is not going to help you, because it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Agree.
So what Hawk provides is the intelligence on top of this visibility, which is AI analytics, algorithmic driven, where it filters out the events which are of importance to you. So you still have the raw data, you still have the full visibility, but at the same time, the curated threat intelligence for you to act upon. And that is where Hawksecure adds tremendous value to organizations. The first time when we deploy Hawksecure somewhere, there is a disbelief when people say, oh, I never knew this was happening in my network. And that is the moment of satisfaction which we get. We are saying, okay, we are showing them what's happening.
Right.
Now let's move to the next level and show what is going wrong in the network and start fixing it. We have fairly large deployments in some of the very, very critical networks of the country. And we are proud to say that we are defending those networks pretty efficiently.
So it's a really impressive technology that you're working with, right? If I may ask that, how many clients do you think right now, or how many organizations right now do you think are using this kind of a technology, or getting benefited from Hawksecure?
See, we are very focused as a company on, because we are still in, the growth stage. We were very focused that we are first going to defend the defense and the critical infrastructure of the country. So our focus has been very defense oriented. So Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, DRDO labs, agencies, and the CIIs like Power Grid, like railways, like banking systems. These are our primary customers, and across these customers, we have today close to around 100 plus locations where pan India, right from Kutch to locations in Dunduma in Assam, that Hawk is deployed and protecting the infrastructure there.
What I can take out is that you're already working at a very impressive spaces. So even if someone is security as well as a travel enthusiast, can definitely look to work with you guys, right?
And the idea was also that, see, if you work with very pragmatic customers, right, you get the feedback to also improve the product.
Right.
So we engaged with customers who will give us feedback,
Correct.
Which will allow us to make it more robust, more contextual, because we believe in co-development. We believe in working, and we know that as an Indian company, unless we solve the problems on the ground for our customers, it's not going to help. And that's something, rather than foreign companies coming and giving a shrink wrap solution, we have the ability to customize it to the customer's need and make it suit what they need.
And I think that's something you can call a challenge, or you can call a privilege that a market like India provides. That the kind of scale it comes with, the way it helps you to evolve your learning, depending on how much time, regardless of that, is something which is tremendously different from any other market, right?
Absolutely.
Great. Manish, now AI copilots and agents are now automating parts of security monitoring, right, and network orchestration as well. Now, do you see them replacing, assisting, or let's say redefining human roles in secure networking? See that happening?
That's an interesting question. And there's a lot of crystal ball gazing that
There
has to
is
be
indeed,
done for that.
yes.
See, still, I mean, the question is we may put AI to protect us, but who's going to protect us from the AI?
From the AI,
Right.
indeed.
So,
Yes.
so I believe that for a good amount of time, a man in the loop is mandatory.
Yeah.
So the SOC analysts, their experience is very, very much required. What AI is going to do, and the way we are introducing AI into our products, is to say how to make their job easier, how to make them more efficient. Where a SOC analyst required 2 days to investigate an incident, can he do it in an hour?
That's a few
Right.
hours.
So
Yeah.
that is where we see the first phase happening. Now, how it will evolve is something which we are yet to see. But yeah, we are very wary of the fact that we not only have to worry about the standard threats, but the threats which may emanate from AI itself. And we have to be constantly working to see how we can stay ahead of it.
But do you see industry working in advance on those threats?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that brings a bit more peace, to myself. Manish, finally, I think, what will be that one myth about cybersecurity or networking that you wish more people, even inside the tech industry, would stop believing? What will be that be? Or maybe, the top three myths, maybe.
So one of the most popular myths that I come across when I meet our customers also, they think that if they have a firewall in the perimeter, that saves and that does all the job.
Yeah.
So I don't think passive equipments which are just kept aside and thinking they are going to protect you is not going to happen. They are still mandatory. You still need the security at the
Yes.
gate. But at the same time, being alert 24/7, monitoring everything is the key to the
Having
modern
systems in
defense
place.
system. So having systems in place who
Yeah.
can provide you 24/7 by 365 days of monitoring, threat hunting, because every day there is a evolved threat coming and hitting you, and it's definitely going to breach your firewall. So I think we have to start thinking that you will get breached,
Yeah.
and we have to prepare to see how to catch that breach as early as possible.
Be ready for that in advance rather than waiting for it to happen.
Right.
Great. Manish, finally, one last thing, before you leave us. As I said, I'll touch base to that topic back again. So we talked about the relationship between the academy and the private sector, right? Now let's say, we got huge amount of, young academic students who are looking into the space, who wants to work in this space in the kind of scale which a market like India provides, as we discussed. So from your experience, what will be your advice to those upcoming professionals? What skills they should add into their profile, into their resume in with regard to today's time? Because 10 years back or 20 years back, it was a different landscape altogether. But today, what we are looking at is a much more evolved, much more progressed challenges, let's call it that. And what skills those, let's call them Gen Zs, yeah, that's the one who are coming in. What should they learn and what should they look into to become, just don't want to say employable in that sector, but I think the real problem solvers. How can they become?
So one of the things which I see that all of us, we come from the dinosaur age. So, I'm a very strong believer in the fact that Gen Z is going to be far more cyber savvy. They are
Yes.
already the digital natives. They are born in the era where there is digital all around them. There are cyber issues happening all around them.
It's less physical,
So,
more digital now.
more digital. So they are getting trained from a very early age to appreciate the cyber issues.
Correct.
Now, what I would like to suggest to them is that if they want to start a career in the cyberspace, they have to first also wear a hacker's hat, because you have to learn how to break the systems, how to think like a hacker, to be able to defend the systems. So very, very important.
Yeah.
And also work on the psychological aspects of cybersecurity, because that is something which will not change 100 years later also. And it was the same 100 years back, probably in the physical security paradigm. So There's a very wonderful book called That Only the Paranoid Survive, right? And I recommend that all the youngsters do read that book because in the cybersecurity space, being paranoid is very important. Being alert is very important. So that these are the fundamental things which will create the mindset, which is the most important thing in the cybersecurity space. If your mindset is tuned to think in the same way the hackers think, the defenses are being built, right? They can do an excellent job in their lives.
Because you're saying these aspirational kids, they should be looking into becoming like ethical or studying ethical hacking, but as well as how to study a psychology of a potential hacker, maybe, right? Great, Mr. Manish. Thanks a lot for your insights. It was great to have you here. I think we really touched base on some very interesting topics, but in a very interesting manner as well. The conversation was not more on the technical side and not very on the layman side as well. I think you shared your inputs in a very, very general manner, which kind of applies to a larger audience. So great to have you with us. Thanks for taking the time out,
pleasure.
and would love to have another dialogue with you in future.
Sure, look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Peshi.